For today's story, we are entering our toes into the water. That is Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. Hello everyone, and welcome to Uncivil Law, where we learn through the misfortunes of others. As always, I hope you'll enjoy this legal educational content, and today may be the day I earn your subscription. For today's coverage, we are finally getting involved in the Lori Vallow Chad Daybell case. Yes, my friends, it's this case, a murder conspiracy, and it just keeps getting more strange every passing day, and there is no real end in sight. So we're going to pick up the case midway through here because, so much stuff has already happened and it's been hilarious. But we're going to review this case and discuss a little bit about that, so let's get started with this. All right, first of all, we have the potential of yet new and exciting charges coming against our friends of Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. So the Maricopa County Attorney's Office confirmed it received a case on November 16th of 2021. There are protagonists, very fun people. More charges could be coming for the alleged doomsday couple, Lori Vallow Daybell and her husband, Chad. The couple is currently in custody in Idaho, facing charges in the death of Lori's children, Tylee and JJ, who used to live in Arizona. Both Chad and Lori are also facing additional charges connected to the deaths of their former spouses. So this is just all kinds of fun, right? We got someone facing problems, murder cases for their children. We got murder cases involving their previous spouses. And now the Gilbert police in Arizona think they should be charged with attempted first-degree murder in a shooting that happened more than 2 years ago. Well, my friends, they say when it rains, it pours. And that appears to be what's happening over here in Lori Vallow land and Chad Daybell. It seems like they're now under investigation in Arizona too. And it also seems they have charges pending, or at least in the process somewhere along the line, in a couple other states too. It feels like a lot of different states want a piece of these people. So it's not going well. It's just not going well over here for these people at all. And now they're basically will be in prison / courtrooms for the better part of the rest of their life. So fun. So Bordeaux is the ex-husband of Lori Vallow's niece, Melanie Pulowski. Police say that Bordeaux reported someone shot at his vehicle in October 2019 outside his home in Gilbert. Bordeaux wasn't injured, but he told investigators he thought that Lori's brother, Alex Cox, was the one who tried to shoot him. So this family is just a really interesting piece of work. They're always shooting each other and all kinds of stuff. In the police report released to the media, Gilbert police detail how they believe Lori, Chad, and Alex plotted to kill Brandon. Gilbert police said they recommend Lori and Chad be charged with attempted first-degree murder. The report said Cox would also be arrested and charged with the same if he weren't dead. He died at his home in 2019, apparently of natural causes. They did not submit any charges for Lori and niece at this time. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office confirms it has the case, but hasn't made any decisions about moving forward. Back in 2019, Chandler police say Alex shot and killed Lori's then husband, Charles Vallow. Chandler police now believe Lori, Alex, and Chad plotted to kill Charles, the prior husband. So they're now going for conspiracy charges. After Charles was killed, Lori moved with her children to Idaho, where Daybell was living. They moved with the kids in September 2019, and they disappeared before the end of that month. So as soon as she got in the hands of Daybell, the kids disappeared. After this disappearance, Daybell's first wife, Tammy Daybell, also died. How strange and coincidentally. Originally, it's believed she died in her sleep, but investigators later determined her cause was suspicious, exhumed it, and charged Daybell and Lori in her death. A few weeks after this death, Lori and Daybell got married in Hawaii. Wow, this is one interesting couple that have some real mental problems. I think we're determining rapidly. They're a spiral of the abyss at anyone who looks in their direction. They're accused of killing their children, accused of killing each other's spouses, accusing of attempting to kill relatives, nieces, husbands, friends, blah blah blah. It's like, man, this is not going very, very well over here for these people, man. Investigators believe Lori and Daybell returned to Rexburg until police came around for a welfare check for the kids. They then disappeared to Hawaii until Lori was originally arrested for failing to produce her kids in 2020 and extradited back to Idaho. Daybell would rather be arrested after the child's bodies were discovered on his property, so they buried the children on their own property. That's just super wonderful. Lori's case in Idaho is on pause while she undergoes a 180-day mental health evaluation after she was deemed not competent. Well, that's not much of a surprise, I think. Right? So she's currently in an insane asylum being treated because they've determined that she is not mentally competent to stand trial. That may or may not mean that she was mentally competent at the time of the offenses. That is yet to be determined. But she's apparently not mentally competent now. So that is just a whole world of wow. Chad Daybell's attorney wants a non-Latter-day Saints, that's the Mormons, special prosecutor following alleged incident. Okay, so what's this all about? Chad Daybell's attorney is asking for a special hearing after allegations were raised that an Idaho Department of Health and Welfare employee encouraged Lori Vallow Daybell to get a new attorney, which is definitely not something some random person in the Department of Health should be doing. Lori's attorney, Mark Means, who is in way over his head. Mark Means is an interesting character in this story as Lori's attorney. Now, Mark Means is a civil lawyer. Mark Means is not a criminal lawyer. Mark Means is representing Lori in a death penalty case. This is going about as well as you would expect. The court has actually appointed co-counsel from the public defender's office because their bills are no longer being paid, who has experience in death penalty work. But that hasn't stopped Mark Meadows from doing all kinds of weird and crazy things. He's filing all kinds of weird and crazy motions. He's filing motions that don't really make sense in court cases that are technically paused. And he seems to be doing really, really strange things. And now it seems like he's not including the counsel that was appointed with him in these motions. So Mark Means is also an interesting guy, an interesting attorney for interesting clients. It's weird. Mark Means, the attorney, claims Lori and the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare clinician watched the change of venue hearing for Chad on October the 5th. So they're watching it together from the insane asylum. While watching the hearing, Means claims the clinician recommended Lori contact attorneys with the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, in Salt Lake City, and possibly obtain legal counsel other than the state-appointed public defender. She reportedly called church headquarters where Means said she was connected with attorney Daniel McConkey. Lori apparently discussed her case with McConkey under the guise that the church was her friend and was there to help her in both temporal and spiritual matters, Mark wrote in filings. After this conversation, Means says that McConkey called the Madison County prosecutor and disclosed the statements Lori made during the call. Wood then contacted the public defender, Jim Archibald, who Boise appointed as Means co-counsel on that case because he's totally incompetent in the legal sense. She's incompetent in the mental sense. He's incompetent in the legal sense. Kyton and McConaughey, a firm that represents the Church of Latter-day Saints, previously issued a statement claiming it received an unsolicited call asking for help. The firm said it told Lori it could not give her advice or representation and told her to contact the Idaho Bar if she needs help finding a new attorney. If these allegations are true, the prosecutor's failure to immediately disclose to the court the state's deliberate intrusion in the attorney-client relationship and the fact the resulting information was then fed back to the state represents troubling departure from professional and ethical obligations, particularly in a capital case. Well, there's some truth to that, to be sure. I mean, depending on exactly what was done and exactly who knew what, when, where, why. But it seems like the prosecutors confirmed that this call occurred. Now, what's interesting is that both Lori and Chad were members. They were Mormons, and they were both Latter-day Saints, and they were kicked out of the club. Yeah, they were kicked out of the Latter-day Saints. They were defellowshipped by the church because they started preaching values that were inconsistent with LDS, like the doomsday stuff. So they got too wacky for the Mormons and got thrown out of the church. That's a thing that happened. So, my friends, at least for the moment, that brings us to the end of Lori Vallow Daybell. A case that we will definitely be covering in more depth because it has layers. It has layers like an onion. And I'm just now beginning to get the surface level. This is something people on my channel have been asking me to cover for quite a long time. And I probably will be covering for quite a long time in the future. Because this has layers, man. It has layers and layers and layers of stupid. Between the attorney who doesn't know what he's doing, the client who's literally insane, and just everything else that's going on in this case. It is a weird little world here in Laurie Daybell land, but at least for a moment, that brings us to the end discussion of this case. Thank you so much for being part of the Uncivil Law family. If you enjoyed this legal education content, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. We appreciate your continuing support. And until later, my friends, cheers and goodbye.